The second your time becomes more valuable than the tasks you're doing, you know it's time to make your next hire. High producing agents lose massive opportunity when they're spending time on admin tasks and service work. This hidden opportunity cost can quietly cost you over $100,000 a year. So let's get into some ways to identify when is it time to make the hire and what is that hire going to do. So one thing that we do here is we use this role duplication worksheet. So the role duplication sheet, it'll kind of take you through the tasks that you're doing, right? And then that will help you identify what you can have somebody else do as a new hire and who to actually hire. Yeah, I'll go through this every month or so. And what I want to do, or what you're going to want to do, is take a photo of your calendar. So take a 4-week snapshot, go back 4 weeks, and just take a photo of your calendar for those 4 weeks. You can put it on another tab, however you want to do it. And you're going to go through and identify all the meetings that you have, okay, and the frequency. So, a brand new employee, there's check-ins. Again, this is kind of like what I identified for myself, but yours is going to look different most likely. But, I'll put down the frequency, the time spent, and the total hours per month, right? Because we want to look at a 4-week snapshot. Your weeks are going to be different week to week, usually, especially if there's time off, travel involved, and so forth. So, and then the sentiment I have, that's like if I like doing it, right? But what's really important is this task generate revenue, right? Or maybe if your role is not necessarily revenue generating. I mean, if you're an agent, obviously your role is revenue generating. This here is for the greater good of the organization. Like, is it something that moves the organization forward, right? So that's going to be a yes, stop, delegate, continue, start. So you want to identify if you want to continue doing this, right? So if it's sales and you're really good at sales, but you're not good at other stuff like admin work, service work, that's something you want to delegate. So you would say, okay, well, obviously I want to stop doing that. I want to delegate that to another employee. And then who are you going to delegate it to? Right. And again, if you're making your first hire or a new hire, yeah, obviously you're going to delegate that to a new hire because you don't have anybody else. Right. Now, this is important too. You want to document the process, right? Because that way, if you have a process documented, you can easily hand it off to a new hire. So if it's service work, admin work, you're going to document the process. You're going to have something in place to give them when you hire somebody new, right? So this is going to total up, you go through every task. Like, so there's, for me, departmental meetings, one-on-one meetings, responding to emails. I don't like that, right? So that's something I may want to delegate to a new hire. Departmental meetings, if I'm in every departmental meeting, I may want to delegate that to that head of that department or find a head of that department to delegate it to. Meetings as shadow, again, these are things I identify I want to delegate. Even planning travel, I suck at planning travel. I always mess up the dates, as mundane as that might sound. I just get so busy and I'm trying to do it so fast that I mess it up. So that might be something I want to delegate. Obviously, there's things that you're going to be good at, right? Like business planning, things like that, that you're going to continue to do. Okay. Stage of process documentation. Again, there may be some that I don't have documented that I have to document to hand off to a new hire, right? And some of these, it may not be applicable, right? And then there's the things that you're not doing because you don't have time, right? So like acquisition planning, I have not been doing that because I've been too deep in the weeds and all the other aspects of the business. So you're going to designate that as a start task. That's something you want to start doing, right? So if you're an agent, some things that you might be, thinking about, or things that you're doing as an agent, admin tasks for existing clients, right? You're going to put down, okay, how often am I doing that? Am I doing that every day? Time spent in minutes. Maybe that's taking me 2 hours, right? And then this is going to calculate hours per month. And the sentiment, do you like doing that? Maybe you don't like it. You're not good at it. Maybe you don't like it and you're good at it. or you like it, you're not good at it. I don't know how anybody that really likes that and is not good at it, right? But that is something you're going to want to designate or delegate to a new hire, right? Because you want to find your counterbalance. If you're really good at sales, you might not be great at some of the operation stuff, right? Like admin work, like, follow up. If you're not good at that, you want to find the person that is, right? Because now you might be doing $10 to $15 an hour work when you could be in front of clients, right? Or you could be prospecting. You could be doing those things that are much more valuable, that are higher dollar per hour work, especially if you're in sales, right? So you're gonna want to delegate that. um, Maybe you're not doing certain things. Like maybe you feel like you're not going to networking events because you don't have enough time because you're doing too much service work, right? So you want to start doing that. So you definitely want to identify all the things you're doing, but then those things that you're not doing that are going to provide value to your business as well. Okay. Running paid social ads. Maybe you're good at that. One thing that agents do is they'll start running paid social ads. They'll spend so much time looking at like, oh, what's my CPL, my CPA, and they'll tweak their ads. And then you're kind of out of the field because you're tweaking ads all the time. Um, it's good to learn that stuff and spend time doing it, but there has to be a balance there. And again, if it's something you're not good at doing, then that's something you can offload for sure. Okay. So that's one thing, right? Like you can identify the stuff that these folks could do if you're going to bring on a new hire. Like, I mean, some of the stuff is easy, like policy review outreach. You know, Obviously they can't attend meetings for you. That might be something that you're going to continue doing yourself, right? But that is definitely something here that you could delegate, right? Managing your calendar, setting appointments, answering the phone, right? Answering the phone is an easy one. A lot of times you're doing a task, maybe you're preparing a quote for somebody, the phone rings, you have to answer the phone, then you hang up with the call, hang up with the client, then you got to spend 5 minutes figuring out, okay, where did I leave off, right? So there's so much time lost when you get distracted from the task. So that's, like when I go through this and I look at, okay, if I add up all my hours, what did I do? Whatever that is, 42 hours a week. Man, I feel like I work a lot more than 42 hours a week, but so how much time am I wasting? Right. So there's some of that hidden opportunity cost that's lost there as well. Okay. So identifying all these things, then you can see, okay, my total delegate hours, let's say and this got a little inflated because of these things I added here, but let me just take this out. My total delegate hours is 55 hours a month, right? So you may think, okay, well, I know there's going to be like, let's say 15 hours a week that I know the things somebody's going to do, right? The things that a new hire is going to do. But there's all those other things that they will identify that'll help your business as well, right? So it doesn't necessarily have to be 40 hours when you add up all this stuff, because there's so many things that we don't realize, right? So many inefficiencies we have in our business that can be improved. Okay, so an easy calculation financially, right, to know when, okay, can I afford new employer? When is it time to bring on another employee? Is if you just look at RPE, right, revenue per employee. So you take your gross revenue, you divide it by the number of employees. Very simple. If you're the only employee, the only one in the business, standard one to use, we use 250,000 RPE. Sometimes people may use a higher one or a lower one. There's no right number. You're going to, kind of look at your overhead and things like that. But 250 is pretty standard. And that's like a good one to pick, especially if you don't know what to pick. So once you get to 250 in gross revenue, it's time to bring somebody on, right? When you get to 500,000, obviously you want to look at that role duplication sheet again. I would do it every month, every, 2 months, 3 months, especially if your kind of business is growing quickly and you're scaling rapidly. That's going to help you identify who to bring on. And again, it's important to find your counterbalance. Like you're really good at sales. You might not be really good at operations. Maybe that's something an office manager can do. Somebody that's good at ops, right? You're not good at admin tasks, service work. You find somebody who enjoys that stuff. Again, the sentiment part of that role duplication worksheet is important because, you don't want to spend time doing things you don't like doing, right? Because that's going to affect your overall attitude towards the business, right? So we have another video on tips for agents, especially agencies that are starting to scale here as well.